Out our news as a foreign editor of Weekly Blitz. Now we move on to our next news. The UN Security Council has called for an end to cross-border and maritime attacks by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels and urged member states to ramp up efforts to implement an arms embargo against them. In a resolution renewing sanctions against the group, the Council has condemned the attacks and demanded an end to all such actions, including those against infrastructure and civilian targets. The text was adopted in a 13-0 vote, with permanent members, China and Russia, abstaining. Targeted sanctions have been extended until November 14, 2026, including a freezing of assets and travel bans currently in place against about 10 people, most of them high-ranking Houthi officials and the group as a whole. Let's in fact listen into what some diplomats in the Security Council have shared.
The resolution will support the Council's ability to monitor and therefore deter violations of the arms embargo. In so doing, it will help constrain the Houthis' capacity to destabilize Yemen and threaten regional maritime security, while avoiding negatively impacting the humanitarian situation for the people of Yemen.
We regret that the resolution does not go further in addressing the growing ties between the Houthis and terrorist organizations in the region. We are disappointed the Council did not direct the panel to report more explicitly on the flow of resources between Yemen and Somalia, including between the Houthis and Al-Shabaab.
Напоминаем, что санкции – один из сильных инструментов в арсенале Совета Безопасности и призваны в первую очередь служить интересам продвижения политурегулирования, способствовать установлению мира и стабильности на Земле. При этом недопустимо использовать их в узкокорыстных политических целях для наказания или наращивания неправомерного давления на те или иные стороны.
Now for this discussion, we welcome Professor Rohan Gunaratna. He's an international and security expert, joins us live from Singapore. Thank you very much, Professor, for joining us again. Good to see you. Professor, now looking at this, how effective is a UN Security Council sanctions in curbing Houthi attacks, and what measures could enhance enforcement of the arms embargo?
Asuma, it's very good to see you.
Good to see you.
What we are seeing is that without a UN Security Council resolution, governments cannot take action, decisive action, and also credible action. So it is the first step. So if we look at this resolution that was passed yesterday, immediately after that, Iran hijacked a ship via the American Fifth Fleet. They were monitoring the developments in the Red Sea. This vessel that was bound for Asia was taken control by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps vessels. So Iran is sponsoring the Houthi movement. Not only that, the Houthi movement is working very closely with Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda associate group in Yemen. So this entire network has to be dismantled. But what the UN did is very commendable, because that will give legitimacy and it will also highlight the developments in Yemen. Unless the Houthi movement's group called Ansarullah is dismantled, there will be no peace in that region, either in the Arabian Sea or the Red Sea. So I think that every country should commend this initiative. Unfortunately, China and Russia did not participate. They abstained from voting, but I only hope that in the future, China and Russia will also participate, because this is a common threat for the international community.
Yes, Professor, I want to learn why did China and Russia abstain from voting, and what are the strategic implications of them not abstaining from the vote for UN cohesion and broader international efforts in Yemen?
China and Russia see the developments in the Middle East as a US Israel West led fight. So that is why China and Russia abstain. But in fact, to maintain global security, global stability, commercial activity and trade is vital. The Red Sea itself, 20% of the oil passed through the Red Sea. So I think that it is so important for international actors to address these issues without politics so that we can create a more stable world. Otherwise, the prices of goods, oil, and other trade items will skyrocket, and humanity will suffer.
Yes, indeed. And how might this renewal of targeted sanctions influence regional power dynamics, particularly between Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the other Gulf states?
Iran, it's very likely that the US and Israel will strike Iran again because Iran is restoring its nuclear program. It's determined to build a functional nuclear weapon. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, they are enriching uranium. So Iran will continue to work with the Hezbollah, with Ansarullah or the Houthi movement in Yemen, and will work with other groups. So unfortunately, China and Russia has decided to support Iran and decide to support the Houthi movement. But what is important is there to be a global consensus when it comes to matters of nuclear proliferation, when it comes to state hostage taking, when it comes to hijacking of ships, when it comes to illicit movement of weapons.
Yes, as you mentioned, international proliferation and much more needed to make sure that this pathway is run smoothly. In what ways might cross-border and maritime attacks by Houthis influence global trade routes now, or is influencing? And what do you think other international maritime security policies should be put in place?
I believe that the vessels, the ships that are moving in those high-risk waters, they have to be protected, and there must be measures also to ensure that countries that do such hijackings and hostage takings and attacks against international shipping, those countries are very severely punished. I also believe that there must be efforts to educate the global community about the impact and the implications of such attacks, because it's going to increase the price of insurance, increase the price of goods that are being shipped through our oceans.
Yes, indeed. With that, I would like to thank Professor Rohan Gunaratne for joining us today and sharing that insight on this topic.